guys, it has been such a long time. I hope you guys have all been well. Today is the first day of med school for this year. How exciting. It's actually the first time that I've headed into med school in like, how many days? Like 90 days or something, which is crazy. Like, I cannot even fathom. But med school has officially returned, which is like a good and bad thing. Like, obviously, you know, one step closer to becoming a doctor, but you know, you're just going to be studying 24/7, 369. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if you guys watched my previous vlog, but the content for this week was actually released like 2 weeks ago, and I've been spending the last week or so trying to stay afloat and just do a lot of study to make sure that when I return to med school, like, I'm on top of things, but I'm not. There has just been so much content, like, goddamn! But I am so excited that, you know, med school is back, so I do have some sort of a routine back in place. I am so excited to show you guys what it's like on my first day in my 4th year, 5th year, 6th? I don't know, I've been doing this for too long, man. Today we have a couple of lectures and heaps of content to go through. We're learning a new section of the body. We're learning gastrointestinal tract, which is basically just like from your abdomen down to your gut. It's like how you process food basically and shoot it out through your rear. So yeah, we've got heaps of like anatomy dissection words that we've had to learn. Something like 170 words, which that's bad. And then we have clinical skills. We're learning how to do a physical exam, as well as learn all the common symptoms of gastrointestinal diseases, such as, you know, GERD, G-E-R-D, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease. On top of that, I got a test tomorrow, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's just great. I love it when like you return to uni and like it just smacks you in the face for a bit. Like, you just slap, slap, slap. As always though, I'm going to show you guys how I stay productive and get everything done that I need to, which gives me time to do other things. I think I've said this before, but like the one thing med school has taught me, it's not any of like the concepts or like, you know, that a myocardial infarction is basically a heart attack, or that, you know, when you go into clinic and a patient is presenting problems with their heart, you check for troponin. It's actually that like time is so scarce. Because med school is like so intense and there's so much content, you will have to dedicate a lot of your time to making sure that you're on top of things so that you don't fail. And that's like really forced me to identify the best strategies and best techniques to study so that I am more effective with like my time management. But yeah guys, I'm heading into uni now, so yeah, it's good to be back, you know. Like over the holidays I was like, damn, no med school vlogs, like kind of feel sad. But we are back, we are so back. But yeah, we've got so much shenanigans, shiitake mushrooms that we've got to get through today. Anyways, let's stay back at med school. Is there a lot for
the examination stuff? No.
It's literally like a lot of the stuff we've done before, like palpating the liver and stuff, that you do during the CVS. CVS. Yeah, so you know how to do it already. And the spleen is the exact same thing, but you go diagonally instead of up and down. And then that's 2 of the sections done already.
Forgot most of it.
Yeah. End of the year.
You're my TBL group, right?
I am.
Yeah.
We got a lot of things to go.
I'm getting touched today. Do you want to switch clean skills? Because we're gonna like not do any work.
I
need to annotate it because like some of it I just don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I got all the steps down.
Yes.
This guy, I looked at it. It's
not mine. Yeah, I looked at it.
It's not mine. It's not mine.
Whose is it?
I just compile with some other guys.
Some of them like you only need to know like 3 things as opposed to 5 because they're not like a muscle. Like your superior, anterior, iliac spine, you only need to know like what it attaches to. They're not gonna ask you that in the video. No, they're not gonna ask it.
after we have this, like that, it's more like it just not responding.
Maybe it's just like excessive stress, lack of sleep.
Yeah, maybe it could be.
I think it's like everything, like combined. You know, like lack of sleep, like your immune system's compromised, physically and mentally, like overworking your body. So
I just feel like I couldn't breathe because apparently my breathing system, my respiratory system stopped functioning during the seizure. And then so at the beginning I was feeling, oh my god, I just couldn't breathe. I was just trying to breathe. Yeah, that's how I feel. All the muscles, including my arms and my legs. I don't know if that's due to the lack of oxygen, which causing the buildup of lactic acid. And that's just causing a lot of muscle aching. It's really, really painful. I literally recovered like 2 weeks after that.
Alright guys, just finished our clean skills class. It wasn't too bad. Essentially what we went through was the layout of like this semester, what's going to look like, a lot of exams and a lot of like practical hands-on assessments, which is good, like prepares us for like next year and when we go on the rounds and stuff like that. Today in particular, we had a strong focus on the abdominal exam. The reason we do that is to identify any gastrointestinal diseases as well as any to rule out our differential diagnoses, make sure that whatever symptoms or diseases we think our patient might have, we can either back it up or refute it with physical evidence. So that was really good. Got to meet people in my class and my new tutor, which was all good. But yeah, essentially we went straight into what to do for this physical exam and then kind of talked about how unfortunately we don't have enough time like during lessons to really have a strong emphasis on history taking. For those of you who don't know what history taking are, it's like when you ask the patient, you know, where is your pain, where is it radiating, all the checklist questions to form your differential diagnosis, which is what you think the patient has. And then you have to, from that, provide justification on like what tests you'd want to run, why you think it's this, and potential treatment options for the patient as well. But yeah, for the physical exam, it's very similar to the cardiovascular physical exam. If you guys haven't watched that video, it's in one of my med school exam videos where I go into detail about, you know, why we check certain vitals. And it's very similar, but this time we're palpating and percussing and listening, auscultating the abdomen. I'll just quickly talk about a couple of things that I learned that I think is pretty cool. Your stomach is divided into 9 sections. In your top left, this is called your left hypochondric region. Middle would be your epigastric region, and then your right hypochondric. And then you got your left lumbar, your umbilicus, which is umbilical region, and then your right lumbar, your left iliac fossa, your suprapubic, and your right iliac fossa. We divide abdomen region into these sections because there's a lot of anatomy, clinical relevance. So for example, your kidneys are situated more so in your like left and right lumbar regions, but also sometimes they can protrude upwards into your 2 upper regions, left and right. Your spleen, when it enlarges from the right hypochondric region and it can spread all the way down to your left iliac fossa region. So essentially the regions of the abdomen give us a pretty good approximation of where we should find certain organs in the abdomen. So it's really important that we know that. On top of that, whenever a physician is palpating the abdomen, whenever we feel upwards and we're trying to find the inferior border or superior border of a certain organ, we always push in on inhalation. This is because you've got your diaphragm and these are like your lungs, and your diaphragm essentially separates your lungs with like your abdominal cavity, sort of. Oh, question to the audience. When you inhale, which is when you take a deep breath in, what happens to your diaphragm? Does it flatten or does it increase? So like in inhalation, does it go like this? Or does it go like this? If you answered that it goes like this, you are wrong. So your diaphragm actually deflates, like it compresses. By compressing like this, it decreases your intrapulmonary pressure, but also allows your lungs and the space within for air to come in. You know anything about science, there's always a movement of high pressure to low pressure because you want to make it equal. On top of that though, there are like just other things that we learned. There's something called spider navy. It's like these red like projections on your arm that look like spiders. I'll pop pictures like this. And essentially they're just burst blood vessels, a sign of like liver disease. Sometimes you can find them in cardiovascular patients as well. So yeah, so that's what we're going to be focusing on. I was able to practice on one of my classmates, but obviously can't record. What I'm going to do now is essentially summarize what we went through in class and annotate the checklist, our assessment checklist. Essentially, when they ask you to check for conjunctival pallor, jaundice, stuff like that, just making sure that I use the right terms as well as know what to do. So for conjunctival pallor, I need to ask the patient to pull down their lids. So yeah, there's a lot to do and a lot to cover, but that's what I'm going to do now. So. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the vlog so far. As you guys know, it can get very overwhelming with exam after exam after exam, as well as coming into med school, having to learn new content, always feeling like you're behind on lectures, and it can be impossible to find time to do all of this. That's why I want to share with you guys something that has really transformed my approach to study and staying productive, which is Plord Note. So you guys are like, what is Plord Note? Plord Note is essentially like your personal assistant who never forgets anything. Imagine watching a lecture and not being able to understand or recap any of the information. This is where Plord Note comes in. Plord Note is a device that captures every single word, organizes it by speaker, and get this, generates summaries for you based on what it's recording. For example, you could be listening to a lecture. If you press record on the Plord Note, it will turn on and it will start recording everything that the lecturer is saying. Afterwards, you can click it, turn it off, stop the recording, and the recording will automatically be uploaded to your phone. You'll be able to ask it to write summaries, summarize key points, have a transcript of the lecture, and even ask it to create a mind map, which I think is amazing. I even used it in Clean Skills today, and I'll show you what it looks like. Basically, I put this on this table, and because the form factor is so slim, you can barely notice it. It also has a MagSafe that you can connect to your phone. So when I do press record, it records everything that happens in class. The beauty about it is it never forgets anything. For example, my tutor went through the important clinical manifestations of various gastrointestinal diseases. I completely forgot that he went through that. But because I recorded it and it was all uploaded to my phone and written on a transcript and summary, I was able to remember all those important information. It's amazing because it uses ChatGPT to summarize and organize all of the important information that it's recorded. If you guys have a look here, this is the document that it made for me. So it's been able to organize all of the important information into a nice, concise document, saving me heaps of time, and I can actually involve myself in the class rather than just taking notes and learning passively. It's honestly the perfect companion for studying. You can also take it to like meetings, take it to your pracs, and record yourself to make notes on any information that you find important as well. It has a super long battery life and it's so thin. Like, guys, Plord Note is the world's first AI voice recorder developed on ChatGPT. Guys, it has a 30-hour continuous recording, 60 days standby time, and up to 240 days on 64 gigs of storage, which means you can record 2 hours daily. Going to the new year, I've been pretty scared of like what med school will be like, but with Plord Note, I know that I'm pretty much going to be fine. I'm not just going to use it for uni, I'm also going to use it for like when I'm in meetings, when I'm studying, or like watching a video that I want to retain information from. It's going to be my perfect companion and personal assistant. I highly recommend you guys check this out. Click on the link here to purchase your Plord Note and use my discount code here. Also check out their Instagram here and optimize your whole study routine. Never miss a thing again with Plord Note. Anyways guys, back to studying.
I feel like it's a lot of work for not much compensation.
You reckon? What is it? What is the OSCE on? Is it on everything we've learned so far?
Yeah, it's anything. If you like the case, you have a patient and do a history, then like stand up, do the physical exam, and you have to choose the right things for physical. You can't do everything, and like it's not like you run through the whole script like we do, like in early histories. Just do it like a read of the script. You have to choose the right things to do. Yeah, it's sick. So I think I had the nicest one actually.
Alright guys, I am back at uni and it is 9:45 p.m. I just quickly run through what happened today after I disappeared. Went home because I had a basketball game at 6:55. Fortunately, we lost that game and I played really poorly. But you put me on a basketball court with LeBron James, I'm definitely winning. LeBron James, get ready. Anyways, went home, had dinner. We had to install a new microwave because our microwave was broken. And then Jasmine and I decided to drive up to uni so that we could study and grind out some study. What are you studying?
Methods.
Year 12 methods. She's in her last year of high school, guys. This is a very stressful period. Not as stressful as med school, but yeah, still stressful. Anyways, Jasmine bought for herself and herself only
No, I asked
24
you.
chicken nuggets
No.
and a large fries. Oh, not to forget a frozen raspberry.
Then
All
we're
to
gonna
herself.
have to Coke.
You're gonna grow up and have diabetes. Anyways, one of the things that one of the I don't want any chips. I have one because they're really unhealthy. Anyways, I was talking to one of the med students above my year, so above in the year above me today, and they said that one of the most important things that we should start focusing on now is recalling like the information and the stuff that we learned last year. So last year we covered the cardiovascular system, the renal system, respiratory system, and a little bit of like hematology, so like anemia, so blood and stuff like that. And by the end of this year, we're gonna be assessed, we're gonna have an OSCE, and that will basically dictate if we go into next year. And that could be like assessing on any, I guess, clinical case. So they could present with like a cardiovascular problem. Yeah, I need to like remember all those terms, all the treatments and everything. And yeah, it is quite a lot, but the beauty of it is we've got a year to kind of like prepare for that. And because we've already studied, it shouldn't be too bad revising on everything. On top of that, like next year, we're going to be going into ward rounds, basically placement, and it's imperative that you remember all this information so that you don't look like an idiot to your consultant or attending. Very important. Yeah, today, the structure for my study session is I'm going to study for the test tomorrow and do that as quickly as I can. Go through as many questions for dissection. We've got dissection next week and there's like 116 words that we have to learn for dissection. And what I mean by that is we need to learn like the function, blood innervation, insertion, attachment, clinical relevance. So for example, there's a ligament called the inguinal ligament, and its clinical relevance is it anchors the aponeurosis of like the oblique muscles, but also it is a common site for hiatal hernia. So, and we just got to learn that for like all of the words. So it's quite a lot. But yeah, that's how I'm going to structure my study session. And then if I am able to get those two things done, so those two things are like the most important, so I place them first in my study session, get them done because those things are like due tomorrow and on Wednesday. Any time that I have left, I'll start revising on stuff that I did last year. Now it's going to be like very tedious, but it's really important for, I guess, myself in the long run. And I think it's super important to focus on things that will be beneficial for you guys in like the long run. So if you know that, you know, studying beforehand is going to help you and reduce the workload that you have to do in the future, just do it. Don't be a pumpkin and don't do it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is advice that you can take on as well, you know.
Why would I be a pumpkin?
No. Yeah.
Anyways, study session. Good morning, guys. It is the next day, bright and early. We've got a test at 9 a.m. For those of you who don't know, every Friday is test day at med school, and we essentially get assessed on essentially the key concepts of like the topic for that week. So this week we're focusing on the esophagus and the stomach in particular, and there's like 16 learning objectives that we had to cover and understand and know quite well. I'll list them all here, and yeah, we get a quiz on them, and then afterwards we have something called a skills and application, I guess, section where a doctor or a clinician or sometimes a specialist in the field will come in and present clinical cases and kind of bridge the gap between what we've learned and how we can apply it clinically to patients and in the hospital. So yeah, that's all great. Last year it started at around about 1. Now it starts at 9 a.m. so it's a little bit of a shift. We're here early and we're actually in front of an oval Reason being is I wanted to start to get into like running. One of my goals is to run like a half marathon this year, which I think I'll be able to do. I think I'm gonna try to do like an easy 5K just to get some blood into my legs and not die before the test today. I live so far away from uni, so I had to wake up at around like 6:55 just to get ready to come today. But yeah, this is just an example to show you guys that, you know, just don't be lazy and just like be productive type shit. Anyways, let's go for a run before our test. Hey guys, sorry about my hair. It looks absolutely atrocious. But yeah, I finished med school. I didn't get a great score. I got 6 out of 12 for my first IRAT, which is actually diabolical, but it essentially just means that there's a lot of things that I need to work on and improve. And it's like a good thing because there's a lot of gaps in my knowledge, which means that, you know, I didn't prepare as well as I could have been, but now I know that, you know, I need to work harder and there's certain areas in like this week that I need to address better. But yeah guys, that is the first week of med school completely done. I'm sorry that I couldn't film more. It's been honestly super hectic, but I did want to just film these past 2 days that I went to med school to show you guys that the struggle is real, but as long as you just keep your head down and like really push and stay focused and persistent, you're going to be fine. Afterwards, I did a little bit more of like consolidation, particularly on the questions that I got wrong, trying to understand like why I got it wrong. Is it because I fundamentally didn't study that, or like maybe I understood it the wrong way, so I need to like fix my knowledge and stuff like that. But yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. I promise you the next vlog will be longer, better, not so much of me explaining stuff, but you guys get to see what I do. It's just been super hectic. If you haven't already joined the school community, I'll put a link here. It's essentially a place where you can work on yourself and meet other people with a similar goal. And if you haven't already signed up to the left field early access, we are doing a potential restock/drop, so if you don't want to miss out, because it's sold out in like a couple of hours the first time we drop, go to our website, there is an early email listing, and follow us on Instagram. But yeah guys, as always, thank you so much for all your support. It means the world to me and I can't wait to bring you another video. I promise it's not going to be too long until that comes, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.